दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today we are going to see the verses 32 to 35 from chapter 1st of Bhagavad Gita. So let me also share. So Prabhuji, do you want to share or should I share the verses from Vedabase?
You can share, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhuji. So let me go and start sharing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So I started sharing and okay. So as I said, this verse, there are 4 verses. So let me make it a little bigger so all can see it. Okay. So what we would do, I will say, I will recite a line and then you can follow me. Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim bo gair jivitena va.
Kimboghe jivetena va.
Yesham arte kangshitam no.
Yesham arte kangshitam no.
Rajam bhoga sukhani cha.
Rajam bhoga sukhani cha.
Ta ime vasthita yuddhe.
Taime vastita yuddhe.
Pranam tyaktva dhanani cha.
Pranam tyaktva dhanani cha.
Acharya pitarah putras.
Acharya pitarah putras.
Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
Matula swasura pautraha.
Matula putraha.
Shalah sambadhinas Etanna hantum ichchami. Natopi madhusudana. Api trailokya rajyasya. Heto kim nu mahi krute. Nihatya dhartra rashtrannah. Ka priti sya janardana. Okay, we'll repeat again. Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim no rajena govinda.
Kim bhogair jivitena va.
Kim bhogair jivitena va.
येषाम् अर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो
येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो
राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
त इमेव स्थिता युद्धे
तामेव स्थिता युद्धे
प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च
प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च
आचार्या पितरः पुत्रास्
आचार्याः पितरः पुत्राः
तथैव च पितामहा
तथैव च पितामहाः
मातुला स्वसुरा पौत्रा
मातुला स्वसुरा पौत्राः
श्याला सम्बधिनास्तथा
शाला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा
एतान्न हन्तुम् इच्छामि
एतान्नहन्तुमिच्छामि
ननोऽपि मधुसूदन
ननोऽपि मधुसूदन
अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य
अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य
हेतो किं नु मही कृते
हेतो नो मही कृते
निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः
निहत्याराष्ट्राणां
का प्रीति स्यात् जनार्दन
का प्रीत्या जनार्दन.
Anyone would like to recite?
How are we reciting? Sorry, I missed a little bit. Are we doing all together or
So,
one at a time?
yeah, Mataji, I will do all together. So, probably it's better. I'll repeat this. I will repeat one more time. Kim no rajena govinda
किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द
kim भोगैर्जीवितेन वा
किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा
येषाम् अर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो
येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो
राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
त इमेव स्थित युद्धे
ताइमेव
स्थिता
युद्धे
प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च
प्राणां
धनानि च
आचार्या पितरः पुत्रास्
आचार्या पितराः
तथैव च पितामहा
तथैव च पितामहः
मातुला स्वसुरा पौत्रा
मातुला सुरा पौत्राः
शाला सम्बधिनास्तथा
शाला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा
एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि
एतान्नाहन्तुमिच्छामि
ननोति मधुसूदन
ननोऽपि मधुसूदन
अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य
अपि
लोक्यराज्यस्य
हेतो किं नु मही कृते
मही कृते
निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान् का प्रीति स्यात् जनार्दन Okay, now we'll go for synonyms. Kim, what use?
what use
Na, to us.
not to us
Rajyena is the kingdom.
Rajena is the kingdom.
Govinda, O Krishna.
Govinda
O Krishna.
Kim, what?
What?
Bhogai, enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Jivitena, living.
Jivitena living.
Va, either.
Either.
Yesham, of whom.
Yesham of whom.
Arthe, for the sake.
For the sake.
Kankitam is desired.
Kankitam is desired.
Na by us.
Not by us.
Rajyam kingdom.
Rajyam kingdom.
Bhogaha material enjoyment.
Bhoga material enjoyment.
Sukhani all happiness.
All happiness.
Cha also.
Cha also.
They all of them.
They all of them.
Ime these.
This.
Avastitaha situated.
Avastitaha situated.
Yuddhe on this battlefield.
Yuddhe on the battlefield.
Pranan lives.
Pranam
lives.
lives.
Tyaktva giving up.
Tattva giving up.
Dhanani riches.
Dhanani riches.
Cha also.
Cha
Also.
Acharya teachers.
Acharya teachers.
Pitaraha fathers.
Pitara fathers.
Putraha sons.
Putraha sons.
Tatha as well as.
As well as.
Eva certainly.
Eva certainly.
Cha also.
Also.
Pitamaha grandfathers.
Pitamaha
grandfather.
Matula maternal uncles.
Matula maternal uncles.
uncles.
Swasura fathers-in-law.
Shashura
father-in-law.
father-in-law.
Pautra grandsons.
Pautra
grandsons.
Chala brothers-in-law.
Chala
brother-in-law.
Sambadinaha relatives.
Shambandina relatives.
Tatha as well as. Etan all these.
All these.
Na never.
Never.
Hantum to kill.
Hantum to kill.
Ichhami do I wish.
Ichhami do I wish.
Nataha being killed.
Nataha being killed.
Api even.
Happy even.
Madhusudana, O killer of the demon Madhu Krishna.
Madhusudana, killer of the demon Madhu.
Krishna.
Api even if.
Api even if.
Trilokya of the three worlds.
Trilokya of the three worlds.
Rajyasya for the kingdom.
Rajyasya for the kingdom.
Heto in exchange.
Heto in exchange.
Him knew what to speak of.
Him know what to speak
of.
Mahi krute for the sake of the earth.
Mahi
Krute for the sake of the earth.
Nihatya by killing.
Nihatya by killing.
Dharta Rashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Na our.
Ours.
Ka what.
What?
Priti pleasure.
Pleasure.
Syat will there be. Janardhan, O maintainer of all living entities.
Janardhan,
maintainer of
All right. So I'll read the translation. O Govinda, of what to avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield. O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me. O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing of the sons of Dhritarashtra? Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses, but Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. Therefore, he is not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Krishna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. I will read the translation one more time quickly. O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Okay, so Hare Krishna. So we'll now see the Bhagavad Gita. I am going to present slide and let me know. Okay, so So as we see in this verse particularly where Arjuna is speaking to Krishna, and this conversation is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the two armies, and where Arjuna is is actually expressing his affection, his attachment to family, relatives, and friends, and he's expressing why he should not fight. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain here. So the first point that we see is a natural compassion. So as a person, Arjuna, he has a natural compassion to his family, relatives, and friends, and that is why he's not ready to fight and kill them. So that is first natural. It's a really good quality as a person. However, from the spiritual platform perspective, Srila Prabhupada has written in one of his lecture that this is the ignorance. Now, why ignorance? Because this natural compassion is based on bodily conception of mind, where we can see Arjuna has deep attachment to the grandsons, pitamaha, teachers, friends, whomever he see in front of him in the battlefield. He is thinking all, I mean, they are all body, and as a person, he think if I kill them, then I will lose them. So this is a bodily conception of mind. But I think one thing we also need to remember that in this part, even though Arjuna behaved this way, truly speaking, Krishna has put Arjuna in this kind of a illusion state. In reality, Arjuna is a true devotee. He is a very knowledgeable. Just to teach us, people like us, like what is not a correct consciousness and what should be the right consciousness, and this whole Bhagavad Gita. So this is the position of Arjuna. Okay. So next, what we see is Arjuna's reason in this war. If I kill my relatives and if I win the kingdom, then what is the use? So this is typically the way Prabhupada wrote in the purport. This is the typical calculation of a material life. So in material life, whatever we earn, whatever the wealth or the opulence, we have a tendency to share with maybe friends, relatives. By doing that, somewhere we get we feel better. That is where that is a one type of sense gratification. And Arjuna is right now thinking on the same line. If I kill my relatives, friends right now and win the kingdom, then what is the use of such kingdom if there is no one where I can show this, where I can share this? So that is that we see here. Then the next point where he's also making an argument, even if I win the three worlds, so there is a specific word called Trailokya. Even I get the or I win the three worlds, but if I have to kill my relatives, my friends, then what is the use? Now these three words, as I was reading more, so there are such three words as per the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada has mentioned about these three words in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 11 and verse 28. These three lokas are Swargaloka, Martyaloka and Pataloka. So when in this particular verse, when this word comes Trailokya, and even Srila Prabhupada also mentioned about the same three lokas in Krishna book as well. So Arjuna is trying to substantiate his argument. Even if I win these three worlds at the cost of life of my beloved friends, family, then what's the use? So initially he starts with the natural compassion. Then he think about the opulence, meaning the kingdom, the Hastinapur. Then he also go a little bit beyond. Next step, that is three worlds, not just this kingdom, but even the three worlds. What is the use? And this is where we see the bewilderment that Arjuna has. Now his discussion continues. So now in this particular verse, oh sorry. Oh. Yeah, so here Arjuna address Krishna as Govinda. So Govinda, so go, as we know, go means cow, right? So Govinda, so who care for the cows. There is another meaning of the Govinda is who satisfy the senses. Now in this conversation, interestingly, Arjuna asking Krishna with the objective of satisfying his own senses. So if you see the previous arguments where I may not be able to share my opulence, I win the kingdom, even if I get a three words, these are all his own satisfaction, his own sense gratification. Here the way Arjuna is kind of showing his position, he is not thinking about satisfying the Lord's senses. And as I said earlier, Arjuna is put into this position by Krishna as the illusion so that we learn, that is, as a sadhaka, what is our real duty? Is not to focus on sense enjoyment or sense gratification of our own, but rather to dissatisfy or to focus on senses of Krishna, Govinda. So in addition to that, as Arjuna's bewilderment continued, so Arjuna addressed Krishna as a Madhusudana. That is very interesting. So as we know, Madhusudana, so Madhu and Sudana. So Madhu is a demon, and Krishna killed this Madhu demon. That's why Krishna has this name Madhusudana. Now what is the significance where Arjuna is referring here Krishna Madhusudana? So in a way Arjuna is indicating, this is Srila Prabhupada right in his one of the lecture, where Arjuna is indicating to Krishna, you kill enemies, but here you are inducing me to kill relatives. That is a difference, right? So you appear, you kill all the enemies, and then why you are inducing me to kill my relatives or friends? Again, this is all bodily conception, but with respect to this name Madhusudana, this is the explanation that Srila Prabhupada wrote. So Arjuna, as we see, he's really not thinking to kill his relatives, even though they are miscreants. What miscreant means? So the same relatives have done some bad thing in the past, and for example, these Kauravas, especially Duryodhana and his team, attempted many times to even kill Pandavas. They have tried to usurp this whole kingdom unfairly. They have dishonored Draupadi. There are many bad things they have done. Even though in the battlefield, Arjuna is showing his so much of compassion. He's thinking, I don't want to kill, even though they are miscreants, they are wrongdoers. Now the question comes, Prabhupada wrote in his purport, in his lecture, if Arjuna does not kill in the war, then naturally enemy will kill Arjuna. If you just stand on the battlefield without killing anyone, then it's easy for opposite army to come and kill him. Now, what is Arjuna's thinking? So Arjuna is thinking it's okay to get killed even by relatives. So first thing is, he's not ready to kill relatives, even though they are miscreant. And the second thing, he agreed even to get killed by relatives. So he will not fight, and he's okay with that. So that's how we can see the all this level of bewilderment. First thing is, he tried to give reasons that why he doesn't want to kill. He also indicate, Krishna, you kill only enemies. Why you asking me to kill relatives? And now here he's even ready to even get killed by the relatives. So now here, let's see this family attraction. So here we see there is a deep family attraction Arjuna is exhibiting. And Srila Prabhupada wrote very nicely about this whole family attraction. How really it starts. We understand there is attachment. Everybody right now on the call and around the world, we see, especially in the family, we have this attraction. Now the Srila Prabhupada explained very nicely how this attraction is built. Again, so let's see what we have in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a reference Srila Prabhupada has given from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Canto 5th, chapter 5 and text 8. I'll just read the verse. Pumsa striya mituni bhavam etam tayor mito hridaya ganthim ahu ato griha kshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoyam aham mameti. So here Srila Prabhupada actually highlights the two words hridaya granthim. Hridaya granthim, that is the hard knot. So what is this knot about? So this knot is about the attraction between the man and a woman. So Srila Prabhupada writes this sequence very nicely in his one of the lecture. So before marriage, right? So the man, so there are thousands and thousands of men. There are thousands and thousands of women in the world, and man and woman has attraction to each other. That is in general. But when at the time of marriage, one particular man and one particular woman, as a part of marriage, they unite together. From that marriage point onward, the attraction start becoming acute, or in other words, deeper. So this is how Srila Prabhupada explained how the attraction start building with the example of this married life. And then once you get married, and then the next step is, let's say, if, as your family expands, children, kids, then that attraction also start expanding. And that's become then the Hridaya Granthim. That knot of attraction become harder and harder and harder. So I read the translation, what Srila Prabhupada wrote in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one become attached to his body, home, property, children, relative, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. And I think we have all, I think most of the people, people on the call, if you are married, we are going through these stages. We are experiencing this attraction. And then whatever we saw, that bewilderment that Arjuna is expressing, right? So this attraction expand, that it expands, starting with the family, it expand to your close family, then your extended family, and then your society, then your country, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is how the Srila Prabhupada has explained very nicely with the example of this Srimad Bhagavatam also. So now let's talk about Krishna's plan. So so as we see that Arjuna not willing to fight, although Lord wants it. That's really interesting. But it is very interesting to note here at this point, Arjun is not a disciple of Krishna yet. He hasn't accepted or he hasn't surrendered as a disciple. The discussion is at a friendship level. What it means is, even though friends suggest, one doesn't have to always accept everything. One can even overrule, right? So here that we can see that kind of conversation. Krishna is not encouraging Arjun to stop fighting. Krishna is giving a right guidance that you should fight, but Arjun is not accepting it. And that is where in this, I think 1.32 or 33, it says, Etanna hantum ichchami. Ichcha means, ichcha is no willingness. I have no willingness to fight. And now we'll see what the Krishna's plan is. So Bhagavad Gita 4.7 and 4.8, that clearly Krishna himself says what is my plan, why I appear. So 4.7, which says, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam smurjamyaham. And the second verse, 4.8, it says, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So this is this verse where Krishna clearly said to annihilate the miscreant. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. Now Krishna's plan is clear. Why he appear? Now the question is whether Arjuna want to participate or not. That's the big question, right? So here Arjuna, in this plan, so Arjuna to be acted as an instrument in Lord's plan. So even Arjuna, in case Arjuna doesn't even participate, that even doesn't matter. Krishna's plan is gonna execute it anyway. I think there is a, I think what you see at the bottom of the screen, I think this is a Hindi line. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. So if you translate in English, so Rakhe Krishna mare ke, meaning Krishna, if Krishna protecting someone, no one can kill him. And if Krishna decide to kill someone, then no one can protect him. That will clear, that very nicely suit this particular situation about Krishna's plan. So Krishna is very clear what needs to be done, that he, and we'll see why he want to kill those miscreants in the next slide. So we have to see here, so there is a higher purpose. Arjuna right now bewildered, considering at the bodily exception. So there is a higher purpose. So higher purpose, as we see, he want to annihilate the miscreant and re-establish the principles of religion. Another second thing is Krishna cannot tolerate trouble to devotees. So, and Krishna has said the same thing in Bhagavad Gita too. And here we see the miscreants like Duryodhan, Shakuni and his team, they have troubled Pandavas, Draupadi a lot. Even before this war began, right? So, and then Krishna doesn't tolerate that at all. Anything, if we harm his devotees, Krishna take it very seriously. So these are the higher purpose where Krishna is here to annihilate, punish those miscreants and re-establish the principle of religion. Okay. So now the quick argument that typically we see, like people who are reading Bhagavad Gita, that how Arjuna is such a peacemaking person. He's talking about not to kill. He's showing so much of compassion. On the other hand, what kind of God this is, who is really inducing to Arjuna to fight. So Arjuna is asking for a peace and Krishna is inducing for a war. What kind of God this is? So this is where we need to understand the higher purpose. Without knowing the higher purpose, then this is like a typical materialistic thinking. So what is the purpose? The purpose is not to induce violence, first of all. But the benefit is to establish the religion, number one, annihilate the miscreants. And another benefit that I was listening to His Holiness Chandramouli Maharaj, he said, when those miscreants, so let's say those miscreants on the battlefield, if they get killed on the battlefield during the war, that will remove their sinful reactions for them automatically. But if they do not get killed in the battlefield and if they die with a natural death, in that case, in the next, they definitely take a birth, and in the next birth, they have to pay for the sinful reactions, and that is more and more suffering. So in a way, Krishna is a blessing. He's actually helping those souls which are, even though they are miscreants, but he's helping to remove those sinful reactions. So that's how we see how the real compassionate, we just talked about Arjuna's compassionate on the material level, but this is the compassionate aspect of Krishna in the spiritual level. So then next we'll see the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So what we have seen, if we correlate this with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is something also when I heard from the lecture of His Holiness Chandramouli Maharaj. So he actually really gave a very good example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared. So he's the pioneer of, he started the Nam Sankirtan. And his purpose is not to kill body, right? Material body, but to change the consciousness. So we have that condition, we have material consciousness, right? To change that consciousness in your heart to Krishna consciousness. That was his mission was. And what weapons he had? Number one is beautiful golden bodily form. So he has that golden bodily form, bodily effulgence. That's one of the weapon. And the second weapon is Mahamantra. That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if you remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he instructs his associates to spread this Hare Krishna Mahamantra in every village and every town. Now the question comes, if anyone would have said, no, I don't want to participate. For example, something like Arjuna, maybe I will do it later on. So even if someone says, I don't want to participate, will it even stop that spreading of Mahamantra? I think we know answer is no. Because it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's plan. The only choice we have either to participate and not to participate. Whether to get that blessing or to stay away from that blessing. Right? So this comparison of Krishna, Arjuna, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our material world, right? And this is an example also present in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter Canto 11, chapter 5, and text 32, where it talks about appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his weapon, how he used those weapons that help to spread Mahamantra. Now the next thing is the name, Krishna's name and Krishna, they are not different. Now this is where we have to see how that weapon is going to act. Right? So this weapon, the name, the Krishna's name, Hari's name, Mahamantra, how that is going to act. where the name is non-different from Krishna. And when we do this chanting, so the instruction that Srila Prabhupada, he has given this instruction to all sadhakas in ISKCON, that is 4 regulative principle and doing chanting of Mahamantra. Now, what that really means, chanting. When we do chanting attentively without any offense, then that name, that it removes those attachments. The attachment that we see in the first slide where Arjuna is showing that deep attachments, right? The same attachment we are talking about. Those Arjuna expressed those attachment to his family, relatives. He doesn't want to kill. He's even ready to get killed. These are all bodily attachments. But now in this age of Kali, when this name name is a medicine for us. What it does, it purifies. It removes the material attachments. It removes the anarthas. And that is a weapon, and that act at a subtle level. It's not like we see the weapon that used by Arjuna that we really see, like say Brahmastra or many other different other weapons. Right? So this name remove the material attachment and anartha. Other thing, Vaishnava Aparadha. So the name, when we take the name offenselessly and attentively, it definitely remove all the anarthas, except one. And this is something I heard from his Holy Chandramouli Maharaj. That is Vaishnava Aparadha. So he said, if Vaishnava Aparadha is very, very dangerous. So if there is a Vaishnava Aparadha, then the only remedy is you go back to that Vaishnava and ask for his mercy. So when you take the name of the Lord's Hari, it will remove all other reactions, sinful reaction, except Vaishnava Aparadha. So that's why I think the message is we have to be very careful in our sadhana that we don't incur knowingly or unknowingly any Vaishnava Aparadha. So we have to always respect and always we should be and how do we avoid this aparadha, even knowingly, unknowingly? When we get into the mood of service rather than mood of enjoyment. So for example, we as a conditioned soul and Krishna, we are already connected. It is not like there is a connection. We are connected because I think in Bhagavad Gita also it says we are part and parcel. Mamai vanshu jiva loke. That verse where Krishna says, right? So we are already connected. What is not there is we have forgotten that connection. Right? So we have to just make sure that we awaken that connection, and then that Naam will help us to do that, taking the Lord Hari's name. So this is how Lord Chaitanya's mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, and how his weapons, how those weapons are going to help us. So this is how it help us to understand. So that was the last slide, what I wanted to share. Maybe I can just recap quickly in this particular verse. That we initially see the Arjun, he's actually thinking about relatives, friends, family, not want to kill them. He doesn't want to enjoy kingdom. He doesn't even want to go for 3 worlds, that is Swargaloka, Patala Loka and Martya Loka. He doesn't want that. Even at the next level, he's also ready to get killed by them. He's addressing Krishna I think he's addressing Krishna in 3 names. The first is Madhusudan, where he want to indicate Krishna that you kill enemies, but you are inducing me to kill my relatives, my beloved ones. The second name he take for Krishna is Govinda, that is who also satisfy the senses. But here what Arjuna was indicating that satisfy his own senses. But the message for sadhakas, because Arjuna is playing that role. He's really knowledgeable, but he is put into illusion. So he's playing that role. So what we need to see that we don't also get into that illusion. I mean, we don't act that way. We have to make sure that we are not doing sense gratification or satisfying our own senses. And the third name he take is Janardana, that is maintainer of all living beings. So these three names, Arjuna, in these three names, Arjuna addressed Krishna in these, I think, 4 verses. And then we see the Lord Krishna's plan. That is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya and the Paritranaya Sadhunam. And Arjuna and Krishna never encouraged Arjuna about not fighting. And Krishna's plan is very clear to annihilate the miscreants and re-establish the principles of religion. Regardless whether Arjuna participates or not, the plan is going to continue. Plan will go forward for sure. And then we see the in our mission, in Prabhupada mission, right? So we are followers of Srila Prabhupada. We are the disciple, and we take example of, we see the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and what his weapons are and how those weapons, that is the name, Lord Hari's name, how that weapon is going to act, and that will remove this attachment, deep attachment to property, attachment to family, attachment to relatives, all those material attachments. And we see that name probably they remove all attachment except Vaishnava Aparadh. For Vaishnava Aparadh, we have to go back to that Vaishnava and to ask for his mercy. So with this, I think this is what I would like to share today for these 4 verses. And please forgive me if I have made any mistakes. And I would request, if you have any comments, questions, or any corrections, please share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me? Prabhuji, I have one question. So when Prabhupada says, right, Arjuna has a weakness of heart, he is ignorant, but sometime Prabhupada also mentions that because he is a devotee, he is sensitive and he do not want to kill unnecessarily, like he do not want to engage being compassionate. So how do we understand that differences?
I think this is what my thinking, Mataji. I believe the first point we mentioned, that is weakness of heart, and I think this is more of a how we progress through this Bhagavad Gita. I think at this juncture, which is this chapter 1, right, where they are just in the middle of the between these two army, where Arjuna is showing his that bodily conception and the material. So I would say as a person, he was very compassionate. That is for sure. And I think as this conversation progresses, then Krishna actually start explaining all the facts. Then the second chapter, where it goes deeper into the soul, the science of a soul, then go to Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. So that then it start unfolding. So Krishna, I think going back to the qualities of Arjuna is definitely knowledgeable. He's a Kshatriya, and and I think as this conversation unfold, right, then that bodily, his thinking, we see that thinking is changing, and at the end he accept that I will follow your instruction. That is what my understanding, Mataji. But anyone on the call, if they want to add, please add.
In one of our morning classes, Madhav, Kanta, they said come up too, and somebody made a nice point that Arjuna, first of all, is a Kshatriya and always upholds dharma, right? I mean, that's their dharma. You know, Kshatriyas as kings have to establish and uphold dharma for the whole kingdom. You know, that's their duty. So Arjuna had never felt anything like this, you know, and he has fought so many battles, so many wars. he's known as like a consummate warrior, so in that sense, he wants to uphold dharma. But Arjuna had never faced an entire army of relatives and friends, and so in a sense, his natural compassion also comes through, right? So as much as his duty is to uphold dharma, I think his facing an entire army of family. It's a fratricidal war. He has never ever faced a fratricidal war before. So as much as he's a warrior and has always upheld dharma and done his duty, and then it is also said that Krishna put him in some illusion because he wanted to speak the Bhagavad Gita. Isn't that also said in some of the classes that we heard?
Correct. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so it's kind of two reasons. One, Krishna put him in illusion to speak the Bhagavad Gita and created that weakness of mind. And second, his natural compassion came through seeing his entire family as the opposite side.
True, Mataji.
That's what I feel, and we heard that in some of the other classes too.
Anybody else? Anybody who would like to add? I think that's what even I thought of, Mataji. These 2 points.
Yeah, but one question, when Arjuna he fought with Bhitama, Bhishma, and Duryodhana in a Virat war, when they all come, he was not confused at that point time, right? He was not bewildered. He did fight with all of them.
Which war? Oh, Virata's war, I say.
Yeah.
So
But
Prabhu,
I
can
know
you
he
go to the
didn't kill.
15th chapter? 15th chapter in the last paragraph. Actually, the same question Prabhupada answers there. The weakness of heart is due to 2 reasons. Exactly, this is the question and Prabhupada answers to that question.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Chapter 15th, last paragraph, page number 1614.
I can read. So while one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is the weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus, one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. Okay, in this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of heart, and the rest of the chapter from 6th verse to the end discusses Purushottam Yoga.
But Arjuna never wanted to lord it over material nature. Arjuna's weakness
Correct.
of heart was kind of created by Krishna's, will. So Arjuna was not of the character who wanted to lord it over material nature.
Correct.
Yeah. So that doesn't answer that question, That is for us ordinary people. For us ordinary people, yes, we want to lord it over material nature, and our weakness of heart and our Hridaya Granthis comes from our attachments,
I think one of the understanding is he wanted to enjoy with his relatives. So he didn't want to fight. But when he doesn't want to fight, then he actually wanted to enjoy the material nature.
Hmm.
So that is the propensity to enjoy the material nature. Basically, he wants to enjoy after the war with his relatives. That's why he doesn't want to kill.
Yeah, that sentiment might have come through when Krishna created his weakness of heart, yes.
And one more question,
And it's a natural sentiment, yeah.
And
Go ahead.
one more question. Hridaya Granthi, you were referring to the attraction, right? The attraction between the husband and wife or male and female. But there is a difference between attraction and attachment, right?
Yeah.
They're related, sometimes, but attraction can be just a short-term attraction.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that, Vrajanandini. Is Hridaya Granthis just between a male and a female, the moment we see our child born, we are attached to it, right? I mean, there is a Hridaya Granthi there too, you know. Right?
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking, like, but I did see his Madhava slide, and he did include the translation from the Prabhupada verse, and it was saying attachment. I thought maybe you mean to say attachment, but it was attraction in his slide too.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
was confused. I thought Hridaya Granthi is more like attachment, like I have attachment with my kids, like that, because attraction is something different. You don't have like attraction to the kids, right? Like you have attachment, you have love for them.
Attachment, but not, yeah. Yeah, and Prabhupada uses it in terms of male and female attachment, the knot in the heart tightens. Yeah.
Right. So I was a little confused with that too. Like we were talking about like the attachment between the family. Arjuna was basically attached to Pitama Bhishma, right? He was attached to his. So I couldn't. I had a trouble relating this one.
Yeah, so perhaps we shouldn't use it in terms of attachment to the family. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, Mataji. Because
Mataji, I think, sorry, Prabhuji, go ahead.
no, I think the way my understanding is, see, Prabhupada is trying to explain how that evolve, right? Evolution. So it starts with male and female attraction. However, his point was the marriage is a point. So at the time of initially, the way he said, the attraction between man and woman is general. General means it happens anyway. Now, where the intensity go deeper or acute is when at the time of marriage they unite. So that now whether we call it attachment, I think this is attachment, because then they see then the female call he is my husband, and male says she is my wife. There is then they start thinking in that manner. That's where the attachment starts flourishing. And then when the family expands, say kids and children, right, then it continues attachment to the kids also. So this is how Srila Prabhupada has explained.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
So,
yeah, and I've also
Mataji,
read somewhere that the consummation of the relationship makes that knot stronger, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly, I was also trying to say the same thing. Actually, what Prabhupada says, right? There are thousands of women, right? So why I only get attached to this single woman? Because I got married to this and I have a bodily relationship for this woman or man. Then I identify that woman as my wife or that man as my husband, and that attraction goes to attachment, and then the family expand. I think that the same thing Prabhuji was trying to explain, based on first you have that attraction and then it goes on to attachment and entangling life of family life. Like,
yeah, I've heard Tamal Krishna Maharaj say that once you get married, you're like pretty much 20 years into a deep well or something like that.
Yeah. No, thank you. That explains actually. It starts from attraction. That I agree. But then it doesn't remain. The attraction doesn't remain.
it becomes repulsion, Mataji.
So are you saying that other granthis can be torn apart also? I don't know.
But I think still even if the attachment still remains, right? So the attraction goes away. The attachment still
Then the
remains.
children come and the attachment goes to in a different direction.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, we are over here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah. I
Hare
think we're
Krishna.
almost over the time.
So,
we have
Hare
the
Krishna
quiz.
Prabhu, quiz time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Prabhuji, we can stop here. So we can pray to the Vaishnavas.
No, he wants to give the quiz.
Quiz time.
Oh, you have quiz, right? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Prabhuji. I didn't. Oh, nice. Nice questions, Prabhuji. Very nice.
We have 35 seconds.
One of the answers was really funny.
Just to make little fun after 1 hour class.
Yeah. Make it light.
Make it little light, yeah. And go to bed. Hare Krishna. So we have almost 10 seconds. 7
Okay.
second, 6, 7, 9, done. And polling. Share result. Okay,
Okay.
quick discussion. What is the significance of Janardhana, maintainer of all living entity? That's correct. What is the significance of
I like the killer of the demon Ardhan.
because always we think Krishna killed someone, right? And the second is what is Madhusudana, that is demon of Madhu. That is also interesting. Krishna killed honeybee, Madhumakhi.
But at least we got 100% on that. That's good.
What does Arjuna indicate addressing Krishna as Govinda? That's the first answer is correct. In the purport, Prabhupada explained like Arjuna is thinking that he is Govinda, he can understand my senses requirement. He doesn't want to kill like that. So what is the theme of the verse 32 to 35? Theme is that I think majority of selected first, but that it's the second, because in this theme it's like he's thinking that what enjoyment I'll get even I kill or even I win the war, there is no enjoyment for me. So that is the answer. Second option, not the compassion. Compassion is over before 130 and before 130 1.3. And Hridaya Granthim, okay, we had a big discussion. I think everyone 93% correct. Then what is the, okay, what are the two verses he used? Prabhuji used Yada Yada hi Dharmasya and Paritrayana Sadhunam. That's two verses he used to explain Krishna's plan. Then seventh question is Mahamantra, 100% correct, at least. That's good. And even last question is removes material attachment and arthas. That's correct. Thank you everyone for participating the quiz. Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa
सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
sindhubhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Anantakoti
Vaishnavendra
Jai.
ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Yay.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.